Hello everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tamara. As you can see, we got some snow and some ice, and we actually have, or supposedly, we have more coming tomorrow. Yay. But this is the perfect time to stay warm in the kitchen and get some stuff done. So I decided to clean out my deep freezers. I've got 2 deep freezers, plus I did pull out a couple things like scraps and stuff from my everyday freezer, the one that's connected to the fridge. So I went through, pulled out all the tomatoes that I had left from the summer. Some of these were from my own garden. Some of these were given to me, and then also some were from my mother-in-law's garden. And I needed to get those put up. As well as I pulled out some beef bones and all of my veggie scraps that I saved for that. So we are going to can up some spaghetti sauce, and we're also going to can up some beef broth. So let's go ahead and get to that. I'm going to start out by roasting my beef bones. I've got my oven preheated at 400. I've got 6 total bones here. They're just frozen in packs of 2. Once they thaw out, I break them up in the oven. I'm just going to give them a drizzle with some olive oil, a season with salt and pepper, and I just get those put in the oven and roast them off about 30 or more minutes. Just keep an eye on it. I don't ever keep track of time. And while that's going, I'm going to dump all of my veggie scraps that I had pulled out. And I went through and also got some extra onion peels in my drawer. There was some celery from the fridge as well that needed to be used up. And so I just went through and dumped all that into my new roaster pan. I have went so long without a roaster, and y'all, I have been missing out. This was my first time using this roaster pan, which a sweet subscriber sent me a gift card on Amazon, and that's how I was able to purchase this. So thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We have been talking via email for a while. She's so sweet, and y'all, I'm telling y'all are such blessings to me and my family. This roaster pan is absolutely amazing. I love it, and I feel like I got so much more as well. Compared to me just filling up the stock pot like I normally do, I feel like I got so much more broth, and the flavor was amazing. But let's get back to making this broth. I just had to jump in and say that real quick. Y'all are amazing, and thank you so much for this roaster pan. I love it. So I'm just dumping all my scraps in there. Now, seasonings, I like to keep it simple when I'm doing my broth and stocks. I like to really just pull out the natural flavors of the scraps and whatever bones I'm using. But for seasonings, I like to do a few bay leaves. I like to do some oregano. You can add some minced garlic. You can add, garlic powder. Just depends on what you have on hand. I don't like to salt mine until the end, until I'm about to actually put it in the jars to process it. I will salt it to taste that, the next day. So what I did is I got all my veggie scraps in there, which for me, I don't buy extra veggies just to put in this. I use, like I said, scraps. Your ends and bits, your peels on different things, just put all that in freezer bags, keep it in the freezer, and then you can pull it out and make this amazing stuff. This stuff is so good. So I'm just going to cover this all with water. Once the beef bones are done, we'll add those in, and I'm going to let this cook on I set it for 225, and I just let it go all night long, you guys. All night long. And it was so good. The house smelled amazing. I'm also going to let these tomatoes cook down all night long in my crock pot. I dumped everything in. Now, yes, as you can see, there are yellow and orange tomatoes in there. So technically, I am rebel canning this. You do you, I'll do me. I'm comfortable with it. I have looked into it, so no worries on my end. So I dumped out all of my tomatoes that I had left in the freezer. And then I also added in 2 little frozen blocks of tomato juice that I found in there. And then I had 3/4 of a bag of pepper and onion blend. So I'm going to add that in as well. The crock pot lid does not fit, but we're going to put it on there and it's just going to cook down. I actually had a whole nother bag of tomatoes that I had to add later because it wouldn't fit in there. But I just dumped everything in and I'm just going to let this go on low all night long, just like the roaster pan. And then I'll bring y'all back and we'll get started on making the spaghetti sauce. Before I go to bed for the night, I'm going to make some more vanilla. My vanilla beans finally came in and y'all have actually been asking, a few people have been asking how to make this. This is my second time making it. The last time I made it with vodka, which I really like it. But this time I'm going to make it with this bourbon whiskey that Luke picked up for me. So I've got 10 beans. So that means I'm going to get 2 bottles. I'm going to put 5 beans in each one. And what you want to do is you want to take and cut the beans down the center. That's going to help expose all that yummy vanilla-ness. But for me personally, I like to cut mine in half as well, putting them in these bottles. I didn't do that the last time, but I ended up going back and taking them out and cutting them. And I feel like I don't know, I feel like it really helped for these size bottles where it wasn't so tall, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be doing the same thing. We're just going to top it with this bourbon whiskey instead. And then I did put a label on it, which I forgot to share that with you guys, but I did put a label on it. That way I knew what I used for this. And then we're just going to let it sit in a dark place for about 6 months. And I know that there's a quick version of vanilla. I have just not tried it personally yet. I've just been trying. I want to get to where I make, 2 or 4 bottles every couple months just to keep me on a rotation because, you have to let this sit for so long. I might venture out and get some extra and try making it, quicker, but, this is a fun way too. And in 6 months, you'll have vanilla. Right now, I've already got a bunch, but I wanted to try it with this different kind. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to get it all put in the jar. I seal it off, label it, get it put back in my shelf, and then I'll take and check on it, shake it every once in a while, just to see how it's doing, and then about 6 months or so, you'll be able to use it. It is now the next day, so I'm actually going to take and blend up these tomatoes in the crock pot. Then I'm going to turn it on high. I had it on low all night long, but I'm going to turn it on high. That way it can start thickening up. I'm going to take my crock pot lid and set it sideways. That way it has breathing room to vent on both sides, and that's going to help thicken up in making a thicker sauce. The color on this beef bone broth ended up being beautiful. It's like a rich red color. I don't know how to explain it, but it was delicious. So I'm going to take and scoop out as much of these scraps as I can, and then I'm just going to season it to taste with some salt and some pepper, and then I'm just going to get it ladled up and get it processed in my canners. Please remember, I'm not a canning tutorial channel. Do your own research on canning. I do have my canners linked in my Amazon storefront. I have had people ask that. But when it comes to timings and everything, I don't talk about that because depending on your area and your altitude, it can be different. So I always just recommend doing your own research, Googling, getting you some canning books. I have watched a lot of videos on YouTube. You can type in what canner you're using or what method you want to use, and you can find all kinds of tutorials on here. I'm just not a tutorial channel. I just love sharing my love of being in the kitchen and canning with you guys, but I'm not a teacher, not a canning teacher. But I'm just going to scoop everything out, salt it to taste, and then we'll go ahead and get it ladled up and get it processed. I'm just wiping the rims with some vinegar, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my lids and my rings on, and then go ahead and get those processed in the canner. Don't forget, I am an affiliate through 4 Jars. I absolutely love their lids. I'm still at 100% seal rate. Y'all probably get tired of me saying that in every video, but I do not, because I'm excited. When you take the time to put up food for your family and preserve it, you want to use good quality products, and saying that you're at 100% seal rate is amazing. I always have my link in the description box for you guys, and if you use my coupon code everyday10, you can save you some money off. I love them. Love 4 jars. While that's processing in my canners, I'm going to go ahead and jump back to my tomato sauce. That way it can be done and ready to be processed once all that comes out. So I'm going to run mine through a food mill just to get any of those bits out. We don't like the seeds and skin, but that's just, that's just a personal preference. You definitely don't have to take that out if you like having it in there. And don't forget that you can dehydrate the tomato pulp, all of that stays in that food meal. You can dehydrate that. I have a bunch, so I'm not dehydrating this batch, but I have a bunch put back. But you can grind it up. You can use it as tomato powder. You can use it as a thickening agent for soups and stews and all that stuff as well. In case you didn't know that. But I'm just going to run this through the food mill, and then I am going to keep it simple, and I'm adding Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, and some brown sugar. I'm doing that all to taste. I do apologize because I don't have any measurements for you guys. I'm literally just adding a little bit at a time, taste testing as I go, and then I'm just going to let this simmer on the stove for about 30 minutes and let it just finish cooking down a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and get this processed in the canner as well. Nothing better than spending a snowy day in the kitchen. I've got 2 more jars of spaghetti sauce waiting to come out of a canner, but this is everything. We also made some vanilla. I really hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.